Welcome to episode 34 of the Monsters of Geek podcast. You thought you got rid of us, but we're back here in 2017. We've almost got a full panel. Jared may jump in a little bit later. We've got our resident sports genius, I'll say, Mr. Andrew Foltz. What's up, buddy?
I'm knee deep in NFL playoffs right now, ready to go.
He's got, if you can't see on the stream, he's actually feeding plays to Coach Carroll on the sidelines.
Yeah, I just called another pass play in the red zone to drive Richard Sherman mad.
Daniel, what's up, man? I don't know if anybody knew this, but during the break, Daniel got signed on for a sitcom about a small town lawyer and what he has to put up with in Southwest Virginia. He's now a star. I had to call his agent to get him some time, to get on this podcast. Daniel, what's up, man?
Hey, I'd watch that show. That sounds interesting. I'd watch that.
Yeah, the ratings are terrible. Joe, what's up, man?
Is that where there's cameras at my houses right now?
Yeah, Daniel's filming his reality show. He's got to catch. They've got to get all of his life, including this podcast. So,
well, there's cameras here. They made me put on pants today.
Don't lie, Joe. You ain't got no pants on. We all know that.
Well, that's why you can only see me from the from the chest up.
All right, guys, it's good to be back. Thank you guys for taking out the time to do episode 34. We took a little bit of a break. Obviously, the holidays makes it a little bit rough to get together and try to do everything. So we took a little bit of a break. I hope we all feel re-energized. We took a break from the blog a little bit too. We've got some stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks as far as lists and stuff coming up from last year. Guys, let's just jump into it right quick, man. Andrew, what have you been up to since we've been gone?
I don't know, really. I traveled, so I guess that's the big thing I did. After Christmas, for New Year's every year, the last 2 years, my wife and I have gone up to Cincinnati, where she's from, and hung out with friends and family up there. So I did that. Not a lot of games been played. I'll talk about one that I've been playing later. But yeah, football. I did win 3 fantasy football championships this year out of 5 leagues, so that's pretty good.
Wow.
But I also in one of the leagues I'm in with you, Aaron, I lost. I had a team go, I think 10-2, 11-2 in the regular season, but I was the second seed in the playoffs because somebody went 12-1 somehow. And first round of the playoffs, I was playing one of my best friends who had Gronk still playing, C.J. Anderson still playing. He had not looked at the team in a long time. It was very clear. And I thought, I could be the good guy and tell him, or I could take the easy playoff win. So I decided to take the easy playoff win. But I had Drew Brees, I had Russell Wilson in the week where they both sucked. And I scored 60-some points and lost to that team. So I went immediately to the losers bracket. The next week he won again, and so finally I had to tell him. I was like, "Dude, have you even checked? Did you forget you have a team? Did you forget you have a fantasy team or whatever?" And he said, "I didn't even know the team existed ever." He auto drafted. He never changed a single player. He never changed anything. The team just was on autopilot the entire year, and he lost by I think 5 points in the championship. He finally checked it, and yeah, that's what happened.
But what kind of success I ended up winning about $200 in a league. Listen, I don't care what I finish, I get money out of it at this point. But $125 out of another league, Joe. That 25 will go to you since I won the other league. I'll let you have the whole 25 there. But that was me and Joe's joint team. If you watched this on Facebook, that was the one that we drafted. But yeah, man, congratulations on the big wins there, Andrew. How many money leagues are you in?
Just one, and I got 3rd place in that one.
I'm in 2, so yeah. Money changes a little bit of everything. I'm gonna have to cut it down to one. I always say this every year. I'm gonna have to cut it down to one of those because one of them's getting a little bit expensive. But yeah, Daniel, what have you been up to, man?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I've just been taking it. I took it easy over the break. Had a really good Christmas break and really good for New Year's. And little girl had way too many toys and way too many things that I had to put together. I will tell you, I had to. We got her like a play kitchen, and I thought we had our Christmas Eve a few days before actual Christmas Eve, and I was like, you know what? I'll put it together that night. No big deal, right? I pull it all out. And I was like, this will take me like 2 hours tops. So 4.5 hours later, 1:30 in the morning, I'm still working on it, and I was like, I think I made a mistake here. I think this is a mess up. So I ended up going to bed and finishing it the next morning before she got up. But in all, it took me like close to 5 hours to put this thing together. But she loves it.
Remember when the toy kitchen though was like, it was just like one big hunk of plastic, and they put like the sink on one side and the stove on the other. So it's like one like molded piece of plastic that has basically 2 different rooms on each side of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this was a wood. This was all wood, and
nice.
I mean, it wasn't. It was like plywood, and like particle board, but like metal screws and stuff. Man, it was hardcore.
It was a full
It took
kitchen
me a long
cabinet
time,
and everything.
Yeah.
Granite. He had to stain the cabinets and get the.
They had granite countertops.
Yeah. It was the whole thing, man.
Running
That's what
water.
happens when you're in a small time town. You can buy like a
has a
very expensive mock kitchen.
And has a reality TV show.
Yeti, what you been up to, man?
Work. No, actually,
that's not very exciting. We got fantasy football champs, we got dads of the year, and then we got you just working all the
No,
time.
no, I took 9 days off to begin the year. So from the 31st, I go back on Monday. In that time, I played a lot of Civ.
Shocking.
6. Yeah, I know, right? I finally got it. And then I also found a new apartment in the town that I actually work in, so I don't have to travel 3 hours a day to get to work.
There you go. Joe, moving on up.
Moving on up. I feel like the Jeffersons.
I haven't been. I mean, with Christmas stuff, it's hard to kind of sit down. But I don't think I said this on the podcast before we left. But I'm expecting my first child, a daughter, in May. So we've had a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff to get through. So I laugh at Daniel, but in a couple years, I'll be saying the same story if this podcast is still around about building stuff. But so we've just been kind of chilling. We didn't decorate much for Christmas because we've just been so busy. But we had a low key Christmas. We went and saw a lot of movies over the break. We have figured out that our local theater, if you wait till like the week before something's go out and you go to about the 10-15 showing, you're in the theater by yourself.
Isn't it amazing?
Is really, really cool.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
So we went and saw Doctor Strange in a theater by ourselves, and we went and saw Fantastic Beasts in a theater by ourselves. So this is the most movies I've seen like 1 year, I think, in a long time. Because I usually just don't go. I just wait until I'm like, oh, I want to go, and it's out, and I have to wait for the Blu-ray to come out or get on Netflix or something. But we've just kind of just chilled out, been playing a lot of Vita. Odin Sphere has taken over my life at this point. Finished Hyper Light Drifter.
Is that good?
So
Odin Sphere?
Oh, it's really good, man. I was talking to Andrew about it Wednesday at church, and it's gorgeous. It looks like you're playing a Disney cartoon. I mean, it's just unbelievable, especially on that OLED screen that's on the Vita. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing with all the colors. It's good. I told Andrew I don't try to platinum stuff, but I could see me attempting to platinum this game because of how the combat is and how you rank up and how you get the experience. Boss fights are really cool. But it's just a really good game. I think I've logged about 12 hours almost in it, maybe 10 or 12 hours. And I've got 2 more characters to go. No, 3 characters to go. So really cool. It's like different chapters of a story, and they all kind of come together and all that good stuff. So it's pretty neat to play. But yeah, we just been chilling. So it's been a good kind of break, and we've worked a lot. We work in retail. So it's been, when we are at work, we're pretty busy the whole time. And it was a good holiday though. So got, kind of chilled out and getting ready to getting ready to pack up this game room I'm setting in, and paint it for a nursery. So we got to start that pretty soon. So, all right. Well, I'm glad everybody had a good Christmas, good New Year's. Like I said, we've taken a little bit of a break from the blog and the podcast because it just takes a lot to get everything together during a normal year. Now you throw in the holidays and it gets a little bit tighter there to try to get some stuff up. But we're back and we got a bunch of cool topics to talk about this evening. The first topic we want to bring up is that the mystery minus the nicely produced Nintendo propaganda that was the Switch debut. We're going to get this week. It will be Friday the 13th, I believe, is when they'll do it. I think Eastern time. It's 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, Andrew, or something like that.
No, it's 11 p.m. on Thursday night.
Oh, is it? Somebody said 9:30 Eastern.
There's something else. I'll look it up real quick. But
okay. Regardless, it's obviously going to be in Japan, so it's either super early or super late here for us, whichever one. But we're going to find out hopefully everything that we have asked over the last couple months since it was revealed in that nice little package they put together. Real quickly, because we've talked about the Switch a lot, but Andrew, give me one thing. Well, you're looking that up. Daniel, give me one thing that you feel like the Switch has to announce. Like, what is one feature that they have to say, hey, this is definitely in this? Or game release or something. Like, what bit of news do you personally want it to be released? What was it, Andrew?
While he's thinking. So the stream that's going to give the release date, the price, and all that is, like I said, Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern. And then there's a Nintendo Treehouse, which is going to be in Japanese with an English voiceover. That's at 9:30 on Friday, which is what you were thinking about. So
okay, so the 9:30 one, is that which one is? I guess the 11 p.m. one.
The big one is on Thursday, yeah, and that makes sense because that's a more reasonable time for Japan, which is of course their focus group, I guess.
Daniel, what one thing do you want them to announce?
Have they announced any games yet? They haven't, right? I mean, they've just had
any games yet.
Just the stuff in the trailer.
Just trailers and stuff, right?
But and we know Breath of the Wild is on Zelda.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's the first announcement. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think I was going to say price, but I don't think price is as important at this point. I think because they have to have a system seller. Because I think when it comes to the Switch, people are already. I mean, me personally, I'm already kind of looking down on the Switch a little bit. Because I mean, we're already well into this generation, looking to a new generation of games, especially with the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio and all this coming out. So I think they really have to impress us with some must-buy titles, like Zelda, like Mario. I mean, the price needs to be competitive, but it needs to be up there enough to where people know that this is a legitimately powerful system. Does that make sense?
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, so
Joe, what about you, man?
I mean, it's not a Wii, right? I mean, you don't want people thinking it's a Wii.
The Wii U has been crap.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you, man?
I think I'm on the side.
I know what you want. You want Civ Mushroom Kingdom. That's what you want.
What?
You want Civ Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I want the Virtual Boy to come back with it, and the Power Glove.
Super Scope.
That would be
Super Scope. Yeah,
that'd be what I would want from it. No, but in all actuality, I just want a system that can compare to the other systems that could possibly maybe be better, not just not graphic wise, but maybe because it could be in handheld. Like I don't have to play it at home. I think that would be kind of cool. And I think that to catch some of the people's eyes, I think they would have to allow some modding to go on because you're seeing a lot of newer video games that comes out like Skyrim, the HD version of Skyrim come out that has mods that can be modded on the PS4 and I don't know about the Xbox One.
Xbox One can too.
So I think that they would have to allow something like that as well to catch people's eyes.
Well,
I don't think Nintendo will ever add mods.
No, well, and with the Skyrim mods, I don't think you download mods; they're just on there.
Oh, are they on there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they are because I have it. Yeah, they're just on there.
But I mean, do you download them from like a community, or do they
No,
put them on
you
there,
just
or?
load up the game and they're in there. You just go and toggle them on and off.
Oh,
You might can add more. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean that's
Check
the whole
that
point.
out.
I mean, I would hope you could add more. That's the whole point of mods is making the game better than what it was. That's why I'm a huge fan of Bethesda because they allow so many modifications to their games. So
But
I
no,
hope you could.
Nintendo's not going to do that though.
What about? I mean, what? I mean, you're talking about mods, but what about just like a decent online store?
how about decent online
I mean-
anything?
Don't get
Yeah, exactly.
don't get
you know?
crazy, Daniel.
All right, my bad.
I mean, I'm not talking about like modding like every game, but if a developer says, "Hey, it's cool," like Bethesda, if you're not show Skyrim on it on the trailer that you have for it, then it's gonna have to be in there somehow because Bethesda has it on every other system.
I think Nintendo's
it'll
too.
just be
Nintendo's
inherent
too
in the
hardcore
game.
about their hardware, don't you think, Andrew?
I think their infrastructure is too different. I don't know that, but just based on what I've heard and read about the way the way their software is engineered, it's not going to be something that's easily modded. PS4 and Xbox One, from what I've heard, are pretty close to PC now in terms of the infrastructure, but I don't think Switch is going to be that way.
Andrew, what do you want to
I'm
hear,
just
man?
gonna
What do you
start-
think they have to? What do you think they have to announce to kind of get? Obviously, the system. Obviously, system's pretty cool with the handheld stuff, but what do you think they really need to do to kind of jump right into the fray with Microsoft and Sony?
Well, yeah, I think it's interesting to hear, Daniel, you say that you're kind of down on it because you're the first person I've talked to who's down on it. Anybody else?
Well,
go ahead.
I guess maybe I'm not down on it. I'm just not really excited. I mean, I haven't seen anything that would excite me about it. Of course, I haven't owned a Nintendo system for a couple generations, but I'm not. I haven't seen anything that excites me personally.
Okay, that's still surprising to me to hear you say that because even other people I know who don't have a Wii U are still like, this thing looks pretty awesome. Now they're still waiting on games, and that's a fair thing to do. Games sell systems, not systems. Excuse me, I'm getting text from my wife. But as far as what I think they need to do, I'm just going to say the same stuff. Zelda, Mario, they need to show. I think what's going to be the big thing is, and I've said this before, is seeing their mobile games and their home console games all coming out from one system. I think that's a big deal. As far as price point, I don't think it's going to be more than $250, simply because if I can recall, not a single Nintendo system ever has sold for more than $250, except for like the deluxe Wii U, I think was $300. But their base systems have always been $250 or less. So I think that's going to be a big thing. It is kind of weird, like Daniel said, that it's kind of in the middle of this console generation. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know. But to me, to sell, they need their Zeldas and their Marios and their ducks in a row, the big stuff. And I'm still holding out for that Persona 5 announcement. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, but I'm holding out for it because I'd much rather play that on something that I can carry around with me rather than at home all the time.
I'm still holding out on the dodgeball announcement.
For me personally, I think the price is a big thing. I think they have to announce a price point. I think if we get out of this conference with no price point, I think the media will flip out.
No, they've said prices on there.
What'd you say,
Andrew? They've said prices on there, or is part of that.
So we know that. We know what the price is going to be. If it comes in at $250, I think it's a bargain with the fact that it's so portable. Well, and the other thing that I think they have to address the battery life of that tablet. How much battery life you're going to get out of it. Is there going to be a charger just for that you can buy? Or if you do take it on a plane, or if you do take it on the go, I know that Hyperkin, which made the Retron 5, has been getting into a lot more accessories for these things. I know that for a fact that they have done an accessory for like a car charger for the thing. So I'm not concerned about a lot of the specs that's come out about how they kind of down res it for, or not down res it, but they kind of I guess the term is what, clocking. I guess they down clocked it, and it runs much, I guess, somewhat slower to get on that tablet, but the tablet doesn't need to run super fast in my opinion anyway. As long as you get a pretty good frame rate out of it, and it's not, you don't have to have it 1080p on that small tablet. So I'm not really worried about that. But battery life, games, I think, is out there as well. I think we've talked about the system so much that we kind of know what we kind of want from it. But I'm just really because I love my Vita so much now, and I played so much more games because of my Vita. Like, I love my Vita, I play my games, and then I come home, like, oh, let's play something on the PS4. So in my personal opinion, I want to know what the battery life is for that, and if I can sit down and be able to play a pretty good portion of a game while sitting on a couch while Shauna watches a movie, or just we're in there together, her reading, I'm reading without having to make TV on. So we'll see. I think it's going to be maybe 3-4 hours at the most, and I'm probably being kind to it, but those are the things I kind of want out of the conference.
My guess would be 2.5.
Right.
Daniel, Mr. Downer, man. I'm not really talking about it. It's like 2.5.
I can't see it being that more.
He's supposed to be my friend over here.
What'd you say,
I said, you're supposed to be my friend over here.
We can't agree on everything.
Wow, we can really, for the first time since you guys been on, we can really see you guys as separate now. Like, there's Daniel and Andrew, it's starting to come apart a little bit. Talked about this the heck. I just want to get kind of our final thoughts before we all get stoked. Of course, we'll talk about it a little bit more next week as well, once we know more information about it. So, all right.
And I do want to say, don't underestimate that Treehouse Live event on Friday morning. I think it was 2 years ago at E3, the Treehouse Live event was more entertaining and more info laden than their E3 stream was. So,
yep.
Just don't underestimate it. I could be wrong. It could suck this time, but don't count it out.
They'll probably announce that Monsters of Geek is the Nintendo official podcast for the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, so let's move on to some topics. We just brought our own topics this time, as far as, what we wanted to discuss. And so we'll start off with Daniel. Daniel, go ahead and throw our topic.
All right. So my topic is pretty simple. It's your New Year's resolution. Doesn't have to be geek related, I guess, but if you want to make it geek related, that's fine. That's cool. But I want to know what the plan is for this year. What's your resolution?
I want to throw in a little bit of a curveball. We're going to do a geek one and a real life one, like a real life one. I say a real life one.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Andrew, go ahead and start us off, man.
Oh, geez. Why do I have to go first?
Okay, Joe, you go first then. Go ahead.
My New Year's resolution?
Yeah, give us a geeky resolution and like one for your personal self.
All right. Geeky resolution is to play as much as many video games as I can this year.
Okay.
Actually stick to the list and actually finish them, not trade them in before I finish them, and then buy them again.
Joe's turned GameStop into this weird kind of rental place for him. Where he actually buys the games and then kind of gets just credit for it. And he's like, oh, I get to rent another one.
I'll have a comment for that later too.
And then my personal goal is to lose right around 100 pounds this year if I can. If that's probably too much, so I'm gonna probably say 50. If I can lose 50, I'd be happy.
Stick to the 100, man.
I'm going to go for 100. But I'm just saying, if I can lose 50, I'd be happy.
Right past super hard. Come on. All right, Andrew.
So I guess first things first. I'm trying to get into graduate school. That's not much of a resolution, maybe, but I'm going with that anyway. I'm also trying to drink less pop, or soda or whatever you want to call it. But that's boring. So.
Hey, that's good.
It is, but it's a boring one.
Man, pop's expensive.
That's true.
Like $1.50 now.
I'm also trying to work out 3 times a week. If I can get to that, that would be an improvement over the lazy lard of myself that I have been this past year. So those are my real life ones. As far as geek stuff goes, I don't know. Like, I guess the diligent one would be stop buying games that you might not like or might not play. But since I don't know that I can win that battle. But let's go with that anyway.
I'm part of a forum called Racket Boy, and they was kind of going every year. They do the 2010 gaming resolutions, and that was a big one. Like, quit buying games. You're like, oh, that just looks interesting, but you don't ever play it. Like, that was a big one for a lot of those guys. He's like, I got a whole stack, and I look at this game. I was like, when did I buy this game? Like, when did I? where did this come from?
Yeah.
Hey,
All right, well,
wait, Andrew, can we have a joint resolution?
Sure.
Can we grow the best goatees of 2017?
There you go, right there.
All right.
No, you've heard of No Shave November, but this is No Shave 2017.
No, this is Make American Goat again, and we're bringing the goatee back.
You can't
to find out,
you can't see it because I've got a hood on, but I do have like the rest of the beard going here too. So.
There you go. He's getting it.
You look good at the goatee, though. I'm just saying, you should shave the beard off.
You guys want to make out or something? My resolution, obviously, real life, is to get ready for the baby. I'm super stoked, and like I said, we're having our first daughter and first baby, and we need to get this stuff done and get all this stuff packed up and figure out where it's going to go and have it, stored away in a tomb somewhere until I can get to it again one day. But yeah, that's the big one. Obviously, another one I'm kind of with Joe and Andrew. I need to lose some weight. Need to get out and be more active. So I'm not a broken down dad with this flab hanging, all over me. But as far as gaming or anything for that matter, I do want to try to weed out my collection a little bit. I've got some stuff that I don't believe I'm going to play, so I need to start weeding that out. I've said that for last year as well, so it's something I need to do. I've got a lot of stuff to pack, and the more I pull out, the more I'm like, oh, man, I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Obviously, get through my backlog, play some stuff that I need to play. I actually started about 3/4 of the way through the year. I actually just started playing my games instead of just, kind of sitting there, and I just was like, hey, let's just play one. Not really giving myself a choice, just picking up the first thing and throwing it in, and just enjoying playing again. It's been a while since I've just played instead of being like, oh, I got to get this game, or I got to get that game. So that's one thing I'm looking to do. Yeah, other than that, just try to have more fun in my geeky life. Be more positive online. I think I'm going to do a more positivity online over geeking. Not getting too many geeky fights on forums and stuff. So try to be more of a positive player. Try to make the internet more of a.
Do you do that?
Ever so often. I've got back into Twitter. I probably shouldn't have.
No, keep tweeting. I appreciate seeing people I know tweet.
Yeah,
I got to a point where I didn't see anyone that I knew tweeting, and it was kind of depressing.
I actually called Bill Simmons out today. Like, I love Bill. Me, obviously, on first name basis with Bill. Okay, and he's my sports guy since I've been in high school. I remember his little column he used to have in the front of ESPN, the magazine, and but they were talking about defensive ends in this year's draft, and they talked about the Myles Garrett and the kid from Alabama. Never mentioned Derek Barnett, so I had to call him out today. Of course, he ignored me. He didn't. we act on Twitter. It's like, oh, I told I commented on that. Well, he probably didn't even look at it, but I took up for my boy DB. But yeah, trying to be a little bit more positive there. But yeah, just trying to
I would
get rid of some stuff that's just taking up space.
We might as well go on a tangent. I don't understand how Derek Barnett has been so overlooked by the national media.
I know. He wasn't even up. What was I can't remember the name of the award. The Belindikoff? No, that's a receiver. Bednarik.
Bednarik, right? Yeah. Chuck Bednarik.
I cannot believe he wasn't a finalist for that.
I don't get it. And because it's not like he's Khalil Mack that played for Buffalo, right. And Tennessee's not great this year, but they were top 20 for most of the year. They finished in the top 25, or they will finish in the top 25. So I don't get it. He outplayed Myles Garrett. Period. He just did deal with it. Jonathan Allen.
And he did it against better competition. Like if you
Right.
look at his number against Alabama, against some of the higher competition,
Yeah.
like he ruled that.
Yeah. And, Jonathan Allen, I get he was the best player on easily the best team, although Clemson might give him some trouble Monday. But I don't get it. I don't understand how he's been I get he's not on a top 10 program, so I could see some of it being overlooked. But the dude was a terror all year, and I just don't understand how he's been overlooked. This isn't like, a bunch of homers asking why Josh Dobbs has been overlooked as a NFL draft prospect or something. This guy's a legit top 10 pick to me, and he's completely ignored. I don't get it. I don't understand.
That's why he should come back next year and play, even though he's already announced for the draft. But he should have came back, and then he would have been a top 10 draft pick.
I think he should be a top 10 draft pick now. I think 5 years from now we'll talk about him as being one of the top defensive linemen in all the NFL.
Yeah, and apparently one of the all-time great draft steals because I don't.
Because anything past 10, if he gets past 10, it's a steal. Why would It's a steal. The guy's just too good. Anyway, we're hijacking Daniel's thing. Daniel, what's yours, man? What's your resolution?
That's Daniel's resolution was to get Derek Barnett drafted in the top 10.
More notoriety for Derek Barnett.
I don't think I could. I don't think I have any help for him there. But mine's kind of along the same lines as your all's. But I had I had a long term and a short term and a geek one. So, but my whole resolution is to try to save more money this year. So ever since my daughter's been born, I haven't been able to save very much. And this year, I'm gonna make sure that I have more money to save and less than I'm just spending. And to go along with that, my short-term resolution, for the next couple months, I'm just gonna try to not buy so much breakfast and so much lunch during the week, because I have a really bad habit of stopping at McDonald's or Hardee's or wherever on the way to work, and that's $5-6 a day. Mm-hmm. And if I get lunch, that's $10 a day. So this past week, I packed my breakfast every day and I packed my lunch every day. So I felt pretty good about myself.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
So
those will play into each other too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep that up, and then my geek resolution it's the same as your all's. I need to be more careful about what I spend my money on as far as games, because you guys know how it is. You see that game at that impulse buy price, and you're like, hey, that's a good price. I may play that. So it gets downloaded or it sits on your shelf, and I usually know as soon as I buy it that it's I'm not playing this. I'm probably never going to touch this. So that's one thing that I'm going to be more careful of. And I'm setting a short-term goal. So I figure for the next 2 months, I'm just going to be very careful about what I spend my money on, and then we'll see how it goes. Spend way too much money on games that I don't play. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But that's our cross to bear, I guess.
Speaking of games, I think I found a game that we all need to play and play Monsters of Geek. Do Monsters of Geeks play? It's on Steam, and then you have to get Steam. And I know some of y'all don't want to get Steam, editor in chief.
Dude, I can't afford. Listen, dude, I can't afford a computer. We just talked about not spending money. I can't afford a computer that would help me. That would legitimately let me run Steam. I got a Mac. That's not
Dude, you don't have to
do Steam games just fine on Mac.
Yeah, you don't have to have an awesome computer.
Guys, I don't need Steam. Jeez, we talk about saving. I told you last week, the last time we came together, I said these PSN sales, that gives me just a little bit of slice of Steam. I can't take the whole pie. I can't, man.
Go look up Gang Beast.
Oh no, I've seen that game. That game looks awesome. And is it not on PlayStation?
I don't know if it's on PlayStation or not. I know it's on Steam right now.
On it.
Yeah, look it up and see if it's on PSN. That would be one game that we all need to play because it looks so much fun.
It looks great, and it's not like this super highbrow concept. It's like a bunch of Stretch Armstrongs pushing each other around in the ring. It's absolutely hilarious.
What's it called? Giant Beast?
It's called
Gang Beast.
Go ahead, Joe.
Gang Beast.
Yep. GANG. Yep.
Hey, I think I had. No, it's not on. I don't think it's on PS4.
It's set to be released on PS4, but it doesn't have a release date yet.
Because it's early access on Steam right now. Because they're doing it to fund the rest of the game, and it's just like there's a I can't stop laughing. There's in the trailer. There's a scene where there's like giant like hot dog wieners falling from the ceiling, and they're just like wrestling around them and picking them up and like smacking each other with them. It's great.
Hey, I will say this: the most fun I think I've ever had playing video games, and I might have told this story before, so sorry, listeners. My Destiny raid group and I, I guess there were 6 of us, because that's how many you can raid with. Got together in a party one time. We're like, let's all play Rocket League. So we just jumped into a lobby all together, and then just you can either pick, Team Orange or Team Blue, or you can say auto. And if you do auto, it just assigns you. So we did random teams for matches. I mean, we probably played for 2 or 3 hours of just random Rocket League. And one guy was absolutely blitzed drunk, and it was seriously the most fun. I don't know if it's, obviously I don't drink, but I don't know if it's more fun if most people are drunk, or if you really just need the one. I guess it depends on the one. But it was seriously the most fun I have ever had playing video games. And I would be okay with us all doing that sometime, since Rocket League, by the way, was announced as the most downloaded game on PSN yesterday in 2016, and that's a game that came out in 2015. So think about that.
I have it, so I'll be.
Yeah, I'm on it. Dan, you got it?
I've got it, but I never played it.
Oh man,
I think it was a.
We'll try to make a time to get together and play. I could probably get.
I would love to do that. I would love.
Yeah, that's a great game. Like if you, yeah. I'd like to get together and try to, actually do a team, but I'm terrible. Joe jumped onto me because I'm the guy that, never was like, hey, you guard the goal, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm like flying towards the other goal.
No, screw goalies. No, don't have a goalie. That's terrible. Why would you have a goalie?
But yeah, well, I mean, I'm all for that, man. I've been trying to get, because my nephew got a PS4 for his birthday, and we've been trying to find some games. He wants to play Battlefront for Star Wars, and I can't bring myself to buy the game again because I know I won't play it as much. So something like Rocket League would be awesome to play. So we'll have to have a Monsters of Geek, game night with that.
Yeah, too bad we can't do it with Civ 6.
Yeah, we'd all take a nap.
It's an exciting game.
Yeah, so obviously all of our resolutions are kind of on the geeky side, but we all got stuff coming up. I'll be texting Daniel in May and being like, hey man, like how do you change a diaper and stuff like that. So how'd you ever get over that terrible poop smell that
you get used to it. It's not as bad as the internet would have you believe, I guess. But the worst ones are when you have blowouts. And like they're so bad that you have to like do a bath right away. I've had several of those.
Hey, just think about it like this, guys. In about 30 years, they'll be doing the same thing to you all.
That's true. That's true.
I'll be hitting up Jared and be like, man, how you do this, man? No, but it's gonna be cool. We was talking about, funny thing is we was in the garage, not the grocery store. We was at Walmart, and we was talking about something came up, and Shauna turned to me and she said, "What happens if Meredith doesn't like Ninja Turtles?" And I just stopped. Like it was like, what do you mean she won't like Ninja Turtles? And then I automatically got defensive, and she's a big Jane Austen fan. I was like, what happens if she hates Jane Austen? And instead of getting defensive about it, she just turns to me and she said, oh, don't worry, that won't happen. So it's cool, man. And, but yeah, we all got life changes, but we all got, kind of the same geeky kind of resolutions. But that was a good topic, Daniel. It was pretty cool to both personally try and get, let everybody know personally what we want to do with our lives, and then geeky wise, what kind of takes a back burner, but something we like to achieve in our geeky lives. So, all right. My next my topic would be best geek moment of 2016. So just a moment. It can be a scene in a movie. It can be something debuting. It can be something that finally came out. Every year I hope my best geek moment is the time that they announce Mega Man Legends 3 at E3. Hasn't happened. So it's that's the moment that I want. But I figured I'd To kind of throw that out there and let you guys kind of think on a little bit. Since Andrew doesn't like to go first, Daniel, what's your best what's your best geek moment of 2016?
Oh man, my best geek moment. I think one of the coolest things I've seen all year was probably from Rogue One, and which is probably, I think, is one of two movies that I actually saw in the theater this year. But I think the coolest moment for me this year was the build up to that movie. You know, all the trailers that we got to see, and some of the that were in that movie, and didn't come out that long ago, so I don't want to get too much into it. But you know, some of the callbacks to the other movies and some of the Easter eggs were some of my were really cool. And just looking back, I think that's probably one of my favorite. Just the lead up to that movie, and then actually getting to see that movie has been probably one of my favorite moments of the whole year.
So you didn't think they got a little carried away with the Easter eggs?
They did. They definitely did. And I think it detracted from the movie, but there were some in there that were excellent.
Yeah, there were. There were.
Yeah, you know, there were some definitely ones that were just like amazingly good. Now, they did get carried away. Okay. But
I'm with you. See, we're back on track.
Yeah. Okay. We're best friends again.
Let me say this about Rogue One. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. I mean, I like Star Wars. I think, you know, if you're, you know, there was a girl we used to work with. She's like, I've never seen Star Wars. And then a guy that I used to work, never seen Star Wars. I was like, what's the odds? Like, everybody, you know, you guys should go back in the bag. Just take a break and watch Star Wars. Like, that is ridiculous. But now my wife's a huge Star Wars fan, huge Lord of the Rings fan. So for someone that doesn't, there wasn't a lot of Easter eggs that I saw that I knew what it was that would detract from the movie. I thought that movie was awesome. Like, everything about it was just from the get-go. You're like, this is a Star Wars movie, but it's not a Star Wars movie. And I think it just, for me personally, coming from like a fan, but not a big fan, I thought, man, that movie hit it right on.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a fun movie, and I don't think I still think that all the Easter eggs and all the callbacks, you know, did detract from the story, or from like my enjoyment of the movie, because I felt like it was too much. But you know, like the movie itself, the excitement around the movie, this being the first spinoff, and then everything that we've talked about afterwards. You know, there's been a lot of stories here just recently coming out about, you know, how there's certain scenes in the trailers and not in the movie, and how they did certain things and all these reshoots that they did. And, you know, I just find it really interesting. It's really interesting to me how they put that movie together. And like it sounds like they had many different ways that could have been a movie, or like different endings, different scenes. And I just think it's kind of cool. It's just really cool to me.
I did like their we kill Warner Brothers over all the cuts and the reshoots, and they don't really give us a good answer on why they do the cuts or the reshoots. I read the article with the I guess the producers and the director or whatever. I thought that their explanation was like, hey, we just shot a bunch of different things and we just kind of put it together. If it didn't fit, we cut it, and we went back and did this to do this. And I thought their explanation was better than just be like, oh, we just did reshoots. Like, you know, we just decided to do reshoots because somebody didn't like it. I thought I thought it gave a really good insight on how Disney and the people involved are like, we got to make these movies good. And if they're not good, we're going to go back and we'll shoot the same scene 4 different times so we can get the right scene and get the right pacing. I thought it was, it was really cool because it kind of showed the care that they have for these movies. They're just not doing reshoots to do reshoots. They're doing it to make the movie better.
It was interesting. The article I read just the other day was talking about how they were shooting scenes just to have fun. You know, they were shooting scenes just because they thought they had a cool shot, and then it ended up in the trailer because, you know, the guy that was making the trailer happened to find it. You know, and I just thought that was really cool. And maybe it's just like the scenes that we get to see of the filmmaking process that's cool. But I don't know. It was really neat, I thought.
If you're on the stream, Andrew looks like a Sith Lord right now with his.
I've been thinking that, but
his new goatee. Look, anytime anybody turns bad, they grow a goatee. So
he's going Anakin.
So I have this. I have this thing where I touch my face all the time anyway. So now I have like beard hair to do it with instead of like a little gross. So be warned, I guess. But I tend to pick at my face. So this is a little bit. This is an improvement to have the beard instead of
Now
that.
Danny went
So.
Obi-Wan there.
Watch out, younglings.
I'm going to be the first Jedi to use a double-bladed lightsaber. I'm just kidding. I'm not the first. Star Wars geeks, don't jump on me. I know I'm not the first.
I'm gonna be the first to use an 8-sided one.
Andrew, what's your best geek moment of 2016?
So I'm really struggling with this question for some reason.
Now, this could be something personal, like you beat a game or you platinum a game, something like personal to you. It don't necessarily have to be something released in 2016, but maybe something you achieved or something like that.
Go to Joe then. Let me think of it that way because I was trying to think of something a little bigger than that.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Geek moment. I'll tell you, it should have been my geek moment of the year, but seeing Doctor Strange and the Big String, I still haven't got to see it yet. Where I've been so busy. And I drive so long to work and back, but
that's a bummer.
That was my bummer of the year. I haven't got to see it yet. But I want to say Goldberg smashing Brock Lesnar at the pay-per-view was the biggest geek moment I've had because I think mom and dad checked on me because I was going what the whole match. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What?" Sound like Little John was down here. I think that was my favorite. Like that was my favorite thing that happened this year.
I reacted the same way. You know, I grew up. Goldberg was one of my favorite wrestlers. Which Jared makes fun of me because my favorite wrestler of all time is Bret Hart, and he's like the excellence of execution. He puts on great matches, and you got Goldberg, who basically can barely put on like a 10-minute match. Like, he has to have a great partner. He just, when I was growing up, he was larger than life. He'd spear people in 5 seconds, jackhammer, and be done with it. I did not expect that during that match. I was sitting there, and Shauna was sitting next to me, my wife, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, he hit a spear," and she kind of looked at him. And she said, "What?" I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, he hit another spear," and I was like, "Oh, what? No, jackhammer!" And it just happened. And the whole time I was like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe I'm witnessing this. And she just looked at me with that. She does this during wrestling when I watch wrestling. And I'm like, oh, man, what a move. What a match. Like, Nakamura and Sami Zayn, I gave a standing ovation. And she just looked at me like, what are you doing? Like, who did I marry? Like, what is this guy? But, man, when he took Lesnar up, and I thought he'd kick out. I thought, oh, it's not going to happen. And when they hit 3 and that crowd went nuts, I could have just been there. Like, it was awesome. So that was probably my geek out moment of the year. But yeah, Joe, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good decision, I thought.
Yeah, me too. Now I know online was like, why'd they do that? I was like, shut up, online. Shut up, Twitter. Okay, this is what I wanted
for the bigger picture.
But yeah, that's a good pick, Joe. That's a good one. That was pretty awesome.
I got one now. So. I told you I won 3 fantasy championships this year, and that was pretty cool. It's always fun because my church league, nobody really seems to care too much, so that one's not that fun to win. But I'm in another one with a lot of those guys that are in my family, and every year around Christmas Eve, I've won that league all but 1 year. In I think 4 years we've done it, and the 1 year I didn't win, I got second place. So that one's always fun to go in on Christmas Eve and be like, I guess I'm just better than you guys every time. Like that's my favorite family to trash talk to because I didn't really realize how dominant I was or how much I was getting on their nerves for winning all the time until one of them is 2 brothers and a dad, and their mom comes up to me and it's like, "You have got to stop winning in fantasy football. They are driving me nuts." So now it's like a thing. I just walk in, I'm like, yeah, it's just how it is, guys. Like I'm just going to win and you're just going to have to deal with it. So that's fun. But my moment of the year, I guess, would be in my work league, which is easily the most competitive league I've ever been in. It's a blast. We trash talk all the time at work, but it's so fun, but it's so challenging. And the first 2 years we've done it, I've not made the playoffs. The first year my team was really bad. But this year I made the playoffs. And the moment I made it the week before the regular season ended is when I clinched. And the moment I realized, because I went all day thinking, okay, I have to win and such and such and such and such have to lose. And then I started looking into tiebreakers and I thought, no, if this happens, that's all I need to happen. And so I'm like watching and counting down the seconds, and this guy gets a few yards and it looks like he might take a lead and he doesn't. So that was my moment of the year. Like I stood up, I was like, yes, I did it. I clinched the playoffs. And my team laid an egg. We do 2-week playoff matchups, and my team laid an egg against the first team I played, so I didn't make it into the championship round. Had I made it, I would have won, because the next 2 weeks I scored in a standard in a standard league. My team scored 100 and almost 40 points both times, which is insane. But I had Dez, I had Antonio Brown, I had Aaron Rodgers scored, like 40 both weeks. So anyway, that was definitely my nerdy moment of the week. I also have a jock moment of the year. That we've talked about before. And that was when Juwan Jennings.
Listen, Andrew, just because you dunked on like a 6-foot goal doesn't mean it's a jock moment of the year, okay?
No, when Juwan Jennings caught the Georgia Hail Mary, like that was probably
that was awesome.
The most elation I felt. That was probably really my geek moment of the year, because I geeked out. And let's face it, sports jocks are geeks too. It's just socially acceptable.
Yep.
So that was my probably my other geek moment of the year.
That's going to be my sports moment of the year when I get my list up. It actually beat out. I thought LeBron and him coming back from 3-1 this year would be my number one, but that Jennings, man, I still watch that highlight over and over again.
I watched it last week, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was just an amazing. I mean, we could talk about that the whole time, but Jennings is a man. Dobbs to Jennings all day, baby. Daniel, did you go? You went, didn't you?
Yeah.
Rogue One. That's right. Mine is there's a couple of them. But as far as like something geeky I'm into, seeing AJ Styles finally get to WB and become just this massive superstar in less than a year. WB championship. I remember watching him when I was in high school. We had this this syndicated channel that basically was like, it was the WB when WB was still around, before it was the CW. And at about 11 o'clock on Saturday nights, they used to show this really this little indie promotion called NWA Wildside. And there's this guy named AJ Styles, and he just did stuff I've never seen anybody do in the ring before. And I thought, who is this guy? Like, why isn't he like wrestling somewhere else? Like, this guy's awesome. And then he went to TNA or Impact Wrestling, and he went to ROH, and then he went to Japan, and just following his career, and then to have him show up at the Royal Rumble this year, I was just like, holy crap. And then just to see this guy that, for years they say would never make it in the big leagues and would never make it in WB. And he's the, he's the best. He's the best in WB right now. I mean, he's the best wrestler. He's the best champ. Just to see him kind of ascend and be, and from what I understand, super good guy, good dad, really good as far as, just public persona. He's just a good guy from what I understand. To see him kind of reach that summit was something I really enjoyed watching throughout the year. But my moment of the year, geek moment of the year, me and my wife actually flew out to Denver, to the Denver Comic-Con this year. And I'd been to cons before. Me and Travis have flew out to Chicago a couple times. And those were big cons, and that was during the first, when Spider-Man was coming out, and Batman Begins, I think the second year we went, was already out. So all that was really cool, but to go with my wife to a big con, she had never been to one, and this is like the third biggest Comic-Con in the nation. Had so many people there, and to see so many like cosplayers, and because when we were going to Chicago, cosplaying was not as big. Like, you would see some people dress up, but man, everybody was dressed up at this thing. And I thought it was just, it was just absolutely amazing. It's just a good, great environment. Got to see a lot of cool stuff. But two moments kind of stick out. Was that obviously we went with her brother, and her brother's, really cool. Big geek like we are, and got to hang out with our niece and his wife, and that was really cool. But just to be there and to see there's this guy dressed up. One of my favorite superheroes of all time is Grifter. He's part of the Wildcats. Really, I don't expect anyone to really know who that is, but he's kind of like this kind of smooth talking, kind of mercenary type guy. And guy was dressed. I never seen anybody dressed up as Grifter. And we was waiting in line to do our photo op, which I'll get to here in a minute. And I literally kind of jump over the rope to get to this guy. Like, I'm like, oh my God, dude, can I get, and I've been getting pictures the whole time, right? With cool cosplayers or whatever. That was one of my goals, to be like, hey, these cool costumes, like these guys were dressed up like Mario Kart, and they had like these cardboard carts, and they was dressed up as Mario and Waluigi, and it was pretty cool. And a couple Ninja Turtle ones and stuff like that. But this guy was like, oh my God, you're Grifter. And you could tell the guy was kind of taken aback, and he was like, you know who I am? I was like, of course, you're like Grifter for the Wildcats, man. You're like my top 3 favorite superhero. And he's got this all. He goes, I was like, can I get a picture with you? He goes, sure. And so Shauna's like laughing, or she's at this point laughing her head off. She's like, I can't believe you crawled onto this rope to chase this guy down to get a picture with him. But that was real cool. But we actually got to meet the guy that which was. I like to shop. Like, I like to go look around and, buy stuff, spend money that I probably don't have, but that's what I like to do at a con. Very few, I don't like to wait in a lot of lines unless it's just someone I really, really want to meet. And there really wasn't anyone there that I super wanted to meet. So I let her kind of choose who we wanted to meet. Stan Lee was there, but I knew that would be the only thing I would do all day. And that's what my brother-in-law did. He kind of sat in line all day, but that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to meet Stan Lee. And, so she's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and Gimli, which I gotta get his name right because I'm not completely. It's John Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, and the guy that played Gimli, and you're always kind of nervous when you meet somebody like that because she's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and we're both huge Gimli fans because I think obviously one of the best part of the movie, and we got to meet him, and the guy was great, like super funny. He poked us in the side to get us to laugh because he was like, oh, I forget, I tell people I tickle people to get them to laugh, and you could tell that he was just really super into meeting the fans. I remember one of the funniest things was that these two, I guess college age girls walked up. And right before that, he had some guys leave away. He goes, "Hey guys, this is a life," just just some really cool stuff like that. And the girl that was behind us, she's about middle aged, and she's probably a little bit older than me and Shauna. And he come up, he goes, "Oh no, I got to get a hug from this beauty," and just happy to be there, the big smile on his face and stuff like that. But that was probably my moment, man, just to be able to do that, to be able to meet him with, with my wife, who's a bigger fan, but then coming away with more of appreciation for that guy. And so every time I see Gimli, I'm like, oh yeah, he's awesome. Like, he's just a good guy. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. So that would probably be my moment of the year. All right. Andrew, we'll move on to your topic. Go ahead and introduce it for you.
So what I was thinking we could talk about is a game from 2016 that you missed, that you didn't get to play, that you intend to play in 2017, or hopefully in 2017. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's one that you're like, I really wanted to play that, but I didn't get to, but it's like top of my priority list for the future, whatever.
Joe, go ahead and start us off, man.
No, you go ahead. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I can give my answer if you guys need time.
No, go ahead, Andrew, if you want to start off.
I mean, mine's easy, and the reason I say that is because mine's easy this time. I don't mind going first when I have an answer. Mine's easy because I've been playing it this weekend. It's The Last Guardian. I missed it, but it's 2017, so it counts. And I've been playing it. It's all the complaints that people had about it are legitimate. And all the praise that people gave for it, for the most part, are legitimate. If you go to Metacritic, there are a few perfect scores. There's no way any logical, reasonable person would ever give that game a perfect score. It is not perfect. It is not close to perfect, but it's still good. I told my Destiny Clan friends, I keep calling us that, I guess because it's easy reference. None of us even play Destiny anymore, but I told them, it's like, you guys won't like it because it's the kind of game, if you go in low on it, it's not going to win you over. If you go in high on it, it's probably not going to make you so negative on it that you regret playing it. So I'm enjoying it, but if you guys haven't played, it's not as good as Shadow. I've never beaten Eco, so I can't say if it's any better than that one. But it's not as good as Shadow of the Colossus, which is not surprising. Shadow of the Colossus is a top 10 game of all time. But the complaints are legitimate. The praise is mostly legitimate. It has its problems. It's not perfect, but I've been enjoying it. And one other thing, Aaron, you mentioned Joe's propensity for trading in games all the time and going back and forth with this and that. Play this for a little bit, switch it for this. That's actually how I'm playing this, because I couldn't find it in Redbox anywhere, not here in Norton, not over where I work in Kingsport. It was just flat. There was one copy in Bluff City, and I was like, I'm not driving to Bluff City to avoid doing what I ended up doing, which is buying it used at GameStop. There was only like 1 or 2 copies available even at GameStop used. And the reason I bought it used is because I'm going to beat it this weekend and return it and get a full refund and get a free rental out of it. So,
beat it in 7 days.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. I'm almost to the end already. I played it yesterday, and I played it more today. I'll play it tonight probably once we're done here.
Are you going to be able to get the platinum?
No, I'm not even going to bother. It's not good enough, I don't think.
What has 2017 done to you, Andrew?
I haven't looked into what it takes. I might do that real quick, but I don't think so. Especially in 7 days, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Well, Daniel talked about saving money. We all follow CAG on Twitter and Wario64, and I think I'm just going to wait until a big deal. I actually bought. I know this is terrible. I actually bought Mighty Number 9 the other day because I got it a price match for like $7. And
Nice.
it came with the Vita codes. I'm gonna put on my Vita and then trade in the game, get something a little bit more out of it. I know it sucks. I'm a Mega Man fan, and that's the best Mega Man that I can get minus the ones that I already have. So I kind of want to test it out. For $7, I thought it was worth it. It's a terrible game from what I understand, but for $7, it's all right. But yeah, I'm gonna wait till it kind of comes down. Try to see if I can catch it on a really good deal on Amazon and price match it up here at Walmart. But I'm glad your exact description of the game has been pretty much every review that I've read on it. It does some really cool stuff, and then it's like you remember this was a PS2 game at one time, like in certain spots.
Yeah, so I played a good chunk. I played almost half of it yesterday. It's about 10 hours long. I played almost half of it yesterday, and I sensed that I reached a fatigue point with it. I had to go do something else anyway, but at the same time, I was trying to rush through it, so I was disappointed. But when I came back to it today, I was like, I'm really enjoying this. And then again, by the end, I was like, I'm super frustrated with this stupid bird dog Griffin. Like, will not do. And some of it's my fault. And I think that's one of the big problems with it, is that sometimes because it doesn't cooperate with you and do what you want it to, sometimes you're doing it wrong and you don't realize it because you just think it's not cooperating with you. So you don't know if you're the problem or if it's just the AI that's the problem. But when that game works, it's great. When it doesn't work, it's very frustrating. So it's probably one best served where you're best served to play it carefully or play it slowly in small chunks rather than in large chunks like I'm doing. I don't know if that would help. It probably would. And I just looked at the trophy list. There's no way I want to get the platinum. One of them requires that you beat it without getting a game over. That's not happening. The controls are too clunky and PS2-ish for me to even bother with that. Another one is you have to beat it in 5 hours. Another one is that you have to hear all the hints. And to hear all the hints, you have to like stand around and wait on the narrator to give you the hint. Which means I would have
what a terrible trophy.
Which means I would have to beat the game 2 more times, and there's just no way. No way.
I'm glad you're kind of enjoying it, Andrew, because I kind of want to play it.
It is fun. It's worth it. I would say that.
I know a lot of people say it's worth it just to see how good the creature is, like to see how the movements and the motions and stuff. One of the guys on Giant Bomb was like, that's one of my just watching him move. Like you could tell, like if this was a PS2, it wouldn't have the same effect, and maybe that's why they kind of waited. Just his movement is so kind of fluid and cool looking. That it was something that he really enjoyed about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I got a couple. Obviously, Final Fantasy 15. I bought it a couple days after it came out. It's still in the wrapper, I think, but definitely something I'm going to try to play. I've got some. I just finished, like I said, Hyper Light Drifter. Daniel, I started I Am Setsuna. I'm about 2 hours into it, and me and you kind of discussed that in text the other day. They made probably the best looking PS1 RPG I think I've ever played.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, even with the top down view on some of that, even the boxes that pop up that have the text in it, it just kind of takes you back.
It's definitely a beautiful game.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, just gorgeous. The characters are great, but the characters are even modeled like a smoother looking PS1 character. They're not like
really.
super little blocky, not necessarily blocky, but just their shapes are a little bit weird. Like they're not shaped like a real person kind of thing.
Yeah, they have like a Final Fantasy VII like polygon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with the rough edges kind of sanded off,
Yeah.
without the pokey hair and stuff.
Exactly.
But I'm having a lot of fun with that. I haven't played it in about a week because I've been playing Odin Sphere, but really cool stuff there. The other one that minus Final Fantasy 15, which will be, will have to be the only game I play for a while to get, kind of finish that one up. The other one that there's a game called Dragon Quest Builders. That has got a lot of really good reviews, and it kind of surprised me. I think like even Polygon gave like an 8 or a 9. IGN was really high on it. One of the guys on Giant Bomb that usually doesn't like those type of games was even like, holy crap, like this is actually a pretty legit game. It's kind of like, I'm not a big Minecraft guy, I'm not creative enough to just say, hey, go do this in Minecraft, but this is kind of like Minecraft for me. It's more of a straightforward kind of story. It's like an RPG that just so happens that you have to craft a world out of it. I'm a big fan of ActRaiser for the Super Nintendo, which is kind of the same thing. You had, you built this world, but you had these kind of action platformer stages in between. And I thought that was a really cool kind of dichotomy. So it was kind of like SimCity meets Castlevania kind of thing. I thought it was a really cool kind of mix, and hopefully that's what this is. It sounds very much in the vein of that, very much an RPG with a lot of world building involved. So that's one of the ones I'm really looking forward to getting into, and probably once I finish Odin Sphere will be the next Vita game I kind of tackle. But yeah, I'm those are the two games that I'm looking at, and plus I Am Setsuna that I would like to kind of finish
what
up.
What about Persona 4?
On my list, I don't mean to ruin my list, but it is going to get Old Game of the Year on my list. So it'll get its spot in a list somewhere. But yeah, I'm working on it. I'm about like I said, I want to say 40 hours, 42 hours, something like that.
I think that needs to be your year's resolution. That needs to be your geeky resolution is to beat
Persona 4. Yeah.
Because I was just thinking mine might be to beat Final Fantasy 6 because I've never played it, and I feel like that's probably a good one to get into. So.
I started last year and I didn't finish it. I think I'm like 12 hours into it. It's really good. Like that game is just like I'm playing I'm playing it through the Super Nintendo card, but I think I may restart it on my Vita because I downloaded.
No, don't do that. You got loading screens and stuff on the Vita version. Don't do that to yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's the best. It's the best Final Fantasy game, guys.
Amen.
I
don't know. I just any not Final Fantasy 7 game, I'm going to agree with you on.
Oh man, jeez.
Just to troll Aaron.
Joe, your turn, man. What are you looking to do?
There's a couple. I'll probably narrow it down to a few. First one being Firewatch. I really wanted to play it, but I hadn't got it yet.
That's good.
The other one, there's a game called Virginia. It's about like a FBI agent who goes to a small town on a missing persons case, and they say it's a really good game, so I kind of want to play it.
Really good soundtrack, apparently, like one of the best soundtracks of the year.
That's what I've also heard. Like I know Steam has like it's $9.99 or it's $11.99 for the game and soundtrack. And then I think the other one that I really want to play that I didn't get to play is Dishonored 2.
Okay.
So I'll probably end up picking that up pretty soon.
I'm surprised you didn't try to pick that up day one because you're a huge Dishonored fan.
I am, but like I said, traveling through work and everything. I just haven't had time to really play anything. So I'm gonna get back 15 hours a week from traveling once I get moved. So
There you go.
that's gonna give me some time to actually get down and play.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of
Hey, so he mentioned Firewatch. I just wanted to put a quick plug in for that one because that was the last game I beat in 2016. I got it, like it was, I don't remember, $6-8, something like that on one of the PSN holiday weeks.
Mhm.
And it was really good. I really liked it. And it's not anything that gameplay is even challenging, or I don't even know that you can fail playing Firewatch, that you can die. I don't think it'll let you. But there's only 2 characters, and they're 2 of the most well-developed characters that I have ever seen in a game this side of Uncharted. Like, they're that well-developed. And in about 2-3 hours worth of gameplay. Like, I really want to just take a second and give it its due since it got mentioned there. It was really good.
Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts every year is the Giant Bomb guys, and they get in a room, they kind of hash out what they're like the site's top 10 best games, and Firewatch was, I think, was it 6 or 7, I think, on their list. Definitely got in there, and they was very, I think it got best story too, if I'm not mistaken, but they were really high on that game as well. It may not be up my alley. I may give it a whirl if I can catch it on sale again, but from what even some of the people, I was like, that's usually not my type of game, but that was a really good kind of story and tale there. So
yeah, it was good. There was one other thing I was going to comment on, but I don't remember now. So I guess we're off that. Oh, no. I believe it was those guys that were debating Firewatch versus Zero Time Dilemma. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I had a friend ask me that question because they listen. Is it Beastcast? Is that the one?
Yeah, the list was like well, they got the Beastcast on the East Coast and Giant Bomb on the West Coast, but they come together under the Giant Bomb one for.
Oh, okay. So I gotcha. All right. So
I think it was Vinny and Brad Shoemaker, I think, was the guy.
They were asking me my thoughts because I played both of those games, and I just to me, Zero Time Dilemma was a disappointment. So it was easier for me to put Firewatch above it because as much as I love the Zero Escape series as a whole, and would put the series as a whole above Firewatch, I did like Firewatch more as an individual installment over Zero Time Dilemma.
If you listen to some of the podcasts before, Vinny had played a lot of those. He had went through the whole series, and I think what lost the number one spot was, I think Jeff Gersh was like, "Do you have to play the other ones?" He's like, "Yeah, to kind of get the whole story."
Sure,
yeah, and that's what got Firewatch in there. But that's Zero Time Dilemma sounds like a nutball game, but
yeah, it's crazy for sure. It's more
morbid
and dark.
I like that game a lot.
I liked it. I expected it to be on Virtue's Last Reward level, and I didn't think it was.
Daniel, did you go?
I didn't.
Okay,
nope.
Yeah, go ahead, Daniel. I think so.
Mine is definitely Final Fantasy 15. I actually had it pre-ordered and actually canceled it because I knew I wasn't going to get around to playing it. And even when Amazon had it at $35, not too long ago, 2 weeks after it released, I still didn't buy it because I just knew I just did not have time to play it right now. But I'll definitely get to it. I'll probably get to it this year. I'll probably even hold out to see if they do a Game of the Year edition or, some some big re-release. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but it's one I want to play. It's one I will play, but I just haven't had time, and I knew I wouldn't. So that was me being frugal before the turn of the year. So I was pretty happy about that. But I will say that I did beat I Am Setsuna, Aaron. I got the platinum in it. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed that game a lot. I still don't think it's worth what is it, 39? I think it's 39.
The only reason, you said you was playing, and when it first came out, I thought it was going to be like $20. I was like, it's a premium title coming from Square Enix, and then it was 40, and that's why I didn't buy it the first time. Like I was going to buy it when it came out, and then when I saw the $40 price tag, I was like, So until I got it down, I think I got mine with a 10% code, like $30 some or 20% code. I got it for like $30 some bucks, but that was a lot of money. And I'm not. Is it how many? You said it's about 30 hours. You said you got out of it.
I probably spent. I was just checking on it. I played it I'm just checking my trophy stats. From the time I got the first trophy to the last was 1 month. So I would say I put 40 some hours into it if I was guessing to get everything done. But I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed love the artwork. The music is amazingly good. The battle system is different. The story is so, but I really enjoyed it. I just don't think $40 for a digital release is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and that's what I was hoping they'd release on the Vita, because I felt like I would probably have played it more on the Vita because of how I have discovered, just like Andrew said, and you had written in the article earlier in the year, it kind of it's kind of a RPG machine. I find myself really getting more and more into RPGs on that versus trying to play it on my system and being able to take it somewhere. And if I'm on a long trip, I can knock out some hours and be able to enjoy it in other places. But they released it in Japan on the Vita, and I was kind of hoping they release it here. And then I saw the $40 price tag, and I was like, I don't without a physical, I'd probably buy that for physical copy, but not necessarily for digital copy.
Exactly.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it, because you're the one who as soon as you started playing, I was like, and I saw basically when I would look on my friends, it's like Daniel's playing I Am Setsuna, Daniel's playing I Am Setsuna, Daniel's playing I Am Setsuna.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, oh, I need to get that.
Yeah, I played it nonstop till I beat it. I had a good time.
That was actually on my list.
I Am Setsuna.
Yep,
it's good, man. It's very old school, and I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea. But I think if you grew up on PS1 RPGs, you'll have a really good time with it and appreciate what it's trying to do. So, I do need to play Uncharted 4. I haven't played 3 yet. So I did a lot of we talked about the Giant Bomb Beast, the Giant Bomb list cast there. I had to do a lot of skipping when it got to the best story because I didn't want to be ruined. So I was hitting the 15-second button on my iPhone to scoot forward. But that's something on the back burner. I've got to play 3 first, and then I'll get to 4. But from what I understand, 4 is pretty much kind of the same thing, but the story's really good. So, and it looks gorgeous.
Is that Uncharted? I'm sorry, I was getting ready for the next topic.
Yeah, Uncharted 4. Yeah, I need to play Uncharted 4. So
am I the only one that played it this year?
Yeah,
no, I played it. I beat it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Man, that ending. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's my game of the year for me personally. So
yeah, me too.
I beat Uncharted 2 this year, so I'm getting there.
Hey, good job.
I loved Uncharted 2. So
Uncharted 2. It was fun. I think I've said it on here before. I played Uncharted 2 and 3, the HD remakes this year, and I had long thought that Uncharted 2 was better than Uncharted 3. I guess since 2011 when Uncharted 3 came out. And then I played the remake, so it's like, nope, 3's better. So that was cool.
That's interesting. I might have to. I always thought 2 was better, but I haven't replayed them.
Yeah,
since they came out.
I was thinking about
it. Andrew, you talked about number 1. I thought I really kind of need to go back and play number 1 for that because of the HD re-releases. After playing 2, I'm like, I have no urge to play 1 again. Like I remember playing 1 and be like, I don't remember having this much fun with 1 as I do with 2.
Yeah, I don't know about 1, but when I went to try and play it on the HD remake, I thought if I try to force myself through this, I won't play 2 and 3. So I just went ahead and played 2 again.
Gotcha.
But I don't know I think what it is for me thinking that 3 is better than 2 now versus, or I guess used to think 2 is better than 3, is that I had not played any of them until the lead up to Uncharted 3. So by the time I got to Uncharted 3, I'd had a nice big heaping helping of Uncharted, and I was just kind of tired of that format by that time. I also think some of the shooting mechanics weren't as good in 3 for some reason as they were in 2, but in the HD remake, I think they used the shooting mechanics of 2 throughout in all 3 games. I think that's what probably then takes it above, because they did some other cool stuff in 3 that I liked. So.
Yeah, they changed the system originally when it first came out, and there was kind of like an outcry of this sucks, and they actually patched it to where you could change it back to the Uncharted 2.
Yeah, wow, good call.
To the Uncharted 2 way it was. But I personally, I know we're kind of getting off topic, but for Uncharted 3, for me, it just had too many. I mean, I guess the game itself was fun, but the story did not do it for me like Uncharted 2 did. I did not enjoy the storyline at all. So maybe that made it harder for me to get into.
Maybe
I just felt like Uncharted 2. I haven't played 3, but I wrote in my little collection chronicles piece on the website. I felt like I was just glad that I didn't see green the whole time. Like, you know, I thought they did a really good job with some of their set pieces were really well thought out.
Yeah,
I thought that, you know, putting up in the mountains and some of the, you know, the villages and stuff, I thought it was just a neat kind of, obviously a natural progression, but they could have easily been like, let's just do a little bit of that, but let's put them back in the tombs. You know, they could have because as far as the, you know, the green and the tombs and all that, the stone color that you see throughout the thing, it was still a really good game, and they could have got away with that. But 2, I thought that they really kind of just shook it up. Like I felt like I was playing a different game.
The only reason you should play 1 now is to get the experience of those characters first getting to know each other, because they do a really good job of that. But other than that, there's just no reason to play.
I played 1 on the PS3, so you know, I played it. I don't know if I want to go back. At some point I'll get bored and want to go finish that out. But I thought 2 was outstanding.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Andrew. You know, when that game first came out, when I first played that game, I never played a cinematic game like that. You know, that had these like really involved cutscenes and had these. We're using real actors to act out all these scenes, and you know, now it's so commonplace that it's not. You know, some of the luster is worn off. But I can remember when I first played it, being really impressed, and then in later years going back and playing it and realizing that, you know, there's a lot that I don't like. It's a little clunky at times, and you know, so I appreciate the game for what it did, but it definitely doesn't hold up as well as 2 will. 2 is going to hold up for a long time.
Yes, I agree. And 2 has one of my favorite moments looking back ever. It's one of the only times in my life. The other one was in Mass Effect 3 when that assassin, spoiler alert, I guess, when that assassin guy tries to, I can't even remember how it happens now, when you're at the top of the elusive man's lair or whatever, and that assassin comes in. That was very satisfying, killing that dude, because he killed somebody. I don't even remember who now, just like in cold blood.
He killed Thane.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was so mad at him for that. That guy, and
darn, guys, that was on my pull list for like 10 years.
Then you should have played it. Then you should have played it. But the only other time I felt that level of rage towards a video game villain, and I felt it even more towards the bad guy. I don't remember the bad guys, Lazarevich in Uncharted 2, is when, because those games are so perfectly paced, so you get through this very exhausting series in was it Nepal that you're in that city or wherever it is, and then you go up in the mountain and you're in this village and everything is very serene and very chill, and you can walk up and pet bulls and do all that stuff that you do, and it's just like, wow, this is relaxing. Then you go in that cave and you fight that Yeti beast thing, and you come back out and Lazarevich is there and he's destroying this very quaint, very, you know, village that's just very calm. And I have never been, like, I was on the verge of, and I don't cuss, and I was on the verge of wanting to cuss that guy because I was so angry at this guy for ruining this village. Like that's how emotionally invested I was.
And he takes your buddy's kid and you're like, man, come on.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite moments. Looking back, I was so mad. It's just like, wow, you guys got me. But anyway, that was way off topic. I'm sorry.
It's almost like the Ellie scene, like when you play as Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like it's makes you as mad and sad.
The boss fight you're talking about.
That made me like super angry.
Naughty Dog, man, making gamers angry for years now. Just
in a good way.
Listen, you may not like the Uncharted game.
In an immersive good way.
Yeah, in a good way, right. But those guys know how to tell a story. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Jack and Daxter.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with some Jack and Daxter.
The Last of Us Crash Bandicoot edition.
What happens if Jackson Daxter shows up in it? They have to fat Crash Bandicoot because he got rabies.
Oh, jeez.
I wish the Cowboys would get a player named Jackster so they could have Dak and Jackster. Sorry.
I'll give Jerry the call.
I apologize.
He sees money signs.
Somebody's gonna have to have a kid and name him Jackster for that to happen. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, all right, guys. Let's move on to the last topic for this episode. Joe, go ahead and introduce it for us.
2017 is looking like it should be a great year in movies and music and video games and even books if you're into books. But what is your most anticipated video game, movie, or anything that you're really looking forward to in 2017?
I'll start off. I'm super stoked for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I am super stoked for that movie. It's been so long since we saw those characters. Obviously, Marvel movies are super awesome. When I saw that, when I saw that trailer, and the whole trailer's great, but when Baby Groot's there, and they're like, "Okay, you don't push this button," he's like, "I am Groot." No, you don't push that button. You'll blow us up. I am Groot. No. And then he's like, "I'm gonna tape his button down." Anybody got any tape? And he's like, "No, nobody's got." He goes, "You telling me we ain't got no tape?" He goes, "You got a thermonuclear bomb strapped to you. You're the one who would have tape if anybody would." And it's just, I miss those characters so much, because when I read the comic, that's exactly, before there's big movie franchise, that's the kind of stuff that I miss. And the first one was so good, and it's been so long. It seems like it's been forever since that first one came out. It's like it's been 3 or 4 years, it seems like, but it may not be that long. But just to see those characters, I'm super stoked for that. Like, that's, I mean, if I had a time machine, I was like, you can only go a little bit in the future. Don't screw anything up. I was like, I want to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's what I would do.
2014 on the last one, so it will have been 3 years.
3 years.
Almost,
yeah. So it seems like it's been a bit. So yeah, I can't wait to see those characters again. Daniel, what about you, man?
Well, we kind of had a conversation about this on Twitter. If anybody of our listeners follow the Monsters of Geek podcast on Twitter, but
at Monsters of Geek,
at Monsters of Geek. My 2 games that I'm looking forward to are Mass Effect and Persona, both supposedly coming out within a couple weeks of each other. So I asked the question to you all: what takes precedence? What's the game that you're gonna play? So it's really down for me. It's down to those 2 games as to what I'm looking forward to, and I think it's Mass Effect. I'm really excited.
What?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since we had a Mass Effect game. Mass Effect 3 is still one of my top games of all time, except for the last 10 minutes. And I mean, I'm just excited. I'm excited to get back into that world. I love BioWare games in general. I love the Dragon Age games. I'm looking forward to jumping in, getting to know some teammates and romancing some of them and just having a blast. So I think that's the game that I'm most looking forward to.
So let me just say this, Daniel. It's been more years since a new Persona came out than it has been since a Mass Effect came out.
It has, but I've played Persona since then.
I know, I get it.
So Persona 4 came out for Vita, and I've played it since then.
Yeah, I get it.
There's been a lot.
I just had to rib you a little.
I know. There's been a lot of Persona titles.
That does kind of surprise me. Daniel, I'll say this: I didn't know you was that super hardcore about Mass Effect, and it would top Persona, because we have talked about Persona 4 and Persona 5 on this podcast so many times. Like, we might as well just say we should retire that conversation in the Hall of Fame of this podcast, because we have talked about it so much. But that does kind of surprise me a little bit.
Well, I guess it just depends. I'm thinking about it as what am I going to play first, and it's probably going to be Mass Effect. I still would be shocked, like I told you guys, if Mass Effect came out on March 21st.
I agree.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if it came out before July. So
I'm not a Mass Effect guy, but that gameplay looked pretty sweet. Like, I was watching it when I guess they debuted a lot of it. Well, the PS4 stuff, but they debuted it on I guess the new little handheld shield thing that they have, and that game looked pretty amazing. And it's a third-person shooter, which I love. So I thought it looked pretty cool. And I'm not a Mass Effect guy. I've never played the series, but I actually may pick that one up. So
I don't understand how you can't be a Mass Effect guy.
I just never got into. Just never got into it. I guess I could go back and play, but then I hear people like, "Oh, don't go back and play." Is it like the first one's not super good, second one and third one's okay?
The HD remake of the first one that made it to PS3. I don't know if it came out on, or it's not an HD remake. I'm sorry, just the ported version that made it to PS3 is actually playable.
Okay, I may check it out.
You're not going to do it,
So
but it is
did they,
playable.
have they done an HD remake on those?
No,
No.
they're talking about it. They didn't realize, I think, how big the market would be for it, but people have clamored for it so much that they're talking about. I saw an article where they're taking it seriously. It's not just going to be like a brainless port like you might expect, especially EA to do. But they want, if they do it, they want to do it right. And I would love, and this is probably asking too much, but I would love to see Mass Effects 1 and 2 with the gameplay of 3.
Okay.
3's gameplay was so far and beyond better than 1 and 2, and I would love to see that. I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
I would really like to see the first one with an HD remake. I've started that game. I can't even count how many times I've started that game, both on PC and PS3. I've never been able to get through it. I always, get hung up, and with something with the gameplay. It's just 3. It's really difficult. I guess it's same like Uncharted. It's really difficult for me to get back in to start playing 1.
Yeah, I am the Insanity playthrough on Mass Effect 2 away from the Platinum, and I just cannot. I cannot do it.
Mm-hmm. I managed to get through it. The only thing I remember is that I took in a pretty high level character already, and I used warp ammo like constantly. I think I was a soldier, but I managed to get through it. But it was tough.
So you have to do like an insanity workout while you beat it. Is that what it is? Like you put the Connect up there, and they actually like watch you do an insanity workout. And
you do the insanity workout every time you die. It's brutal.
Well, that's a way to lose weight. I might have to do that. I die a lot during games. Andrew, what's yours, man?
Okay, so we've talked about Mass Effect and Persona. It's an interesting first 4 months of the year for me because 3 games from 3 of my favorite franchises ever are coming out in Zelda, Persona, and Mass Effect, assuming Mass Effect actually does come out. It's brutal, but in order, my most anticipated are Zelda, Persona, and Mass Effect. I don't really think I need to talk about any of those. They speak for themselves, and we have spoken for Persona especially enough on our own. But for me, 2017 is all about those 3 games, and somehow trying to find time to play all 3 of them, especially with the Switch coming out. And then as far as movies goes, Guardians is up there. Episode 8, right? That comes out this year.
Yep.
December, right?
Yep.
December.
So that's exciting. And there was one other. There's another pretty big Marvel movie coming out, right?
You got Thor.
Couple.
No, I'm not that excited about Thor. I thought there was something.
Black Panther comes out this year too, I think.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess my biggest things though are going to be Zelda because I'm a huge Zelda fan. Persona because I'm obviously a big Persona fan, and Mass Effect because I'm a big Mass Effect fan.
Joe?
I mean, it's going to be a huge year for movies and video games. I mean, you got movies like Wonder Woman coming out, Logan, Pirates of the Caribbean is coming out with a new one. It's been like, 5-6 years almost since the last one. Star Wars, Guardians, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's coming out. That might have been the other one
coming out.
about.
It's not Black Panther, it's Spider-Man. That's the other one.
Yeah. Thor. I mean, those are just some of the movies that I really want to see. But video game rise, I mean, you're looking at Red Dead Redemption possibly coming out later this year.
Yeah.
And then Star Citizen. I don't know if you've ever heard of Star Citizen before. It was a Kickstarter one. It's the one that
that game's supposed to come out this year because that's been in like production for like 10 years.
It's rumored that it's supposed to come out this year. Yep.
Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. It sounds cool, but I'll believe it when I see it.
It's rumored to come out last year, but it didn't come out. So hopefully this year's the year that it comes up. Take your time, man. Make it a good game. I
agree.
And then of course the new Resident Evil as well coming out this year. Looks pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, but I think mostly I think if those 2 games happen, Red Dead Redemption and Star Citizen, I mean, you have open world space in Star Citizen, and then you have open world old Wild West in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, I mean, those are 2 of my favorite favorite things. So I think it'd be awesome. Now, if they can put them together and make like a Wild West space game, that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
But yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption and Star Citizen is probably my two most anticipated things if they come out this year. I don't have any hope for them coming out. Rumored that they're coming out, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, we forget about Final Fantasy VII. It's been listed as coming out as 2017. I don't know if it's going to the first part's going to come out in 2017.
No.
I think it's probably pushed to 2018. So as much as we can dream, I totally forgot about Red Dead Redemption 2. I think this year the movies have kind of because I actually went back and looked because I think we forget Civil War came out this year, right? Was it this year?
Yeah. It was a summer.
And we look at Civil War, and that was like the big movie. It's like, man, there's just nothing coming out next year after Civil War. And then you look, and you're like, holy crap. Like 2017 is like we talk about comic book movie years. This will be remembered as one of the better ones if all these movies end up being, halfway decent. So,
well, we can mark Justice League off that list of being halfway decent. So.
Oh, yeah, it comes out next year too, right?
Yeah, it does. I meant to leave that off the list because I don't have high hopes. The one that tops the list is the new Fast and Furious movie. Oh man, I can't wait for that to come out.
Man, I read a little bit on the I think I've watched the first one, maybe the second one. I can't remember which one. They all bleed into one. It's just a lot of fast cars. But the outrage over that trailer, man, I read it on Polygon, and the comments was like, man, I can't believe they're doing this, and he's my bro, and I was like, oh, what in the world? Like, what? I didn't know this thing had grown this big. But it's that's a big one for some people. All right. Well, guys, great topics tonight. We went a little bit over, but good conversations all the way around tonight. We'll be back next week, hopefully, if everything pans out. And we'll be talking about the Nintendo Switch next week. Man, just everything has kind of come out about it. I'm pretty stoked. I know Andrew is. Daniel is obviously not stoked. As he has said tonight.
He's just not feeling well. Logical explanation.
Daniel, I mean, even the PC Master Race guy over here is excited about the Switch, and you're just like, I'm just Nintendo, man.
I mean, it could be amazing. And I probably still wouldn't buy it. So, I guess I'm just realistic. I mean, I hope it's great. I hope you all love it, but I'm probably not going to get it. So,
well, I'm saving my money up for it. So,
I'm excited about what it can do for the gaming industry if it's done right. Like, I'm going to rush out and buy one when it first released, though.
I pre-ordered that sucker.
I'm pre-ordering it next Thursday night.
Yeah.
Assuming that's when pre-orders come available.
Yeah, whenever pre-orders come available, I'll have my pre-order down on it. This is coming from a guy that preaches no pre-orders, but I say that for games, not for systems, okay? So, all right, guys, thank you for hanging out. Go check us out, monstersgeek.com. We got some best of 2016 lists hopefully going up. I'm working on mine now. Hopefully be up next week, and we've got some other ones coming up. Next week we'll be talking some wrestling. So me and Joe have been trying to get a wrestling podcast for about 3 months. So we'll be able to do some wrestling podcasts here, and probably Jared will join us from there. I don't know if I know Andrew won't, because Andrew he's not a pro wrestling fan like we are. So
I'm not going to say anything mean, although I could.
Yeah, it's fake. We know that. We know it's fake.
It's predetermined, all right? Those guys put on a good show, all right?
That's a weak argument against it. I'm not going to say that.
We watch men in tights wrestle other men in tights.
I don't go for the easy argument. Like, video games are fake too. I play those. The NBA's fake, but we like it anyway.
Whoa! We're going a little bit off the edge there. But guys, go check us out, monstersgeek.com. Check us out on Twitter at Monsters of Geek. I think Daniel just got a Twitter this year just to follow us, apparently. So thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Speaking of that, I just started following Aaron on Wednesday on Twitter. I don't know how that happened that I didn't follow the EIC until Wednesday, but
to be fair, the EIC just discovered that you can switch accounts easily from the app. So I accidentally hit the account button one day, and I was like, "Oh, wait, I can switch apps," because I just post from the vlog's Twitter. and I have to put dash at whatever so they know it's me talking. But I'm like, oh crap, I can just switch back and forth now. This is awesome. So I'm an old man that accidentally found a cool thing on Twitter. So yeah, go check us out. Subscribe on iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher. We're all available there for the podcast, and go subscribe there. And yeah, for Andrew, Daniel, Yeti, I'm your editor in chief, Aaron, and we are out.